Hi, everybody. Welcome to Mystery Wire with George Knapp. I'm Ron Futrell. We've got Jeremy Corbell today and the producer of his movie Sleeping Dog, Michael Lazovsky. I'll call it a special treat today. A lot to cover here. John Forrest is producing, directing, Carlos Sampson, and putting the show together. But it was a pleasure to talk to Jeremy about this movie and about what he and George go through. If you've seen the movie, you know that George is figured prominently in the movie, and it is. I learned a ton from it. Okay, it was remarkable to figure out everything. And during this show, we're going to talk about disclosure. We're going to talk about CIA spying. We're going to talk about the risks involved, if you will, in coming forward, of whistleblowers and media people involved. Because if you've seen the movie, you know that throughout the movie, you see the risks involved. I never realized it until I watched it to see what they go through. I've known George for more than 4 decades and didn't really get a handle on some of the risks actually involved, but you see it front and center firsthand. And is it worth it? And the title, Sleeping Dog. Let a sleeping dog lie, the premise there. Let it go, leave it alone. Oh no, not when you're George and you're Jeremy. You do not let sleeping dogs lie. You wake them up, you kick them, you go through it, you open up this issue. That's the kind of journalists they are and what they've been. It's on Prime Video, so Apple, you can check it out there and watch it if you want. We're going to have a little preview of it here in a moment. But first, let's talk about how the movie was made. And Jeremy had all this video from years that he then trusted Michael Lazovsky to go ahead and put together in the form of this movie.
Yes, obviously, I trust Michael Lazovsky with giving him, you said vintage, I say archive, about 20 years of footage of investigations and things that I never showed anybody. But I didn't give him everything. I gave him just the stuff that I promised that if I promised I would never put something out, I never would. So he has seen more footage of my life than I've seen. Sure, I was filming it, but giving him 20 years of footage, that was the beginning. What happened was he was supposed to make a movie, or actually like 5 movies, probably within the footage of different, UFO stories, even one about tattoos in LA that I spent many years filming. I just don't have the time because I'm working with your friend, George Knapp, and we are trying to investigate the UAP thing. So actually, we're trying to report on it. But giving Michael all of that footage, the odd moment was when Michael saw what was coming at me and George Knapp with intelligence agencies trying to influence us, trying to threaten us, or not trying, actually threatening us. And then he said to me that by turning the camera around, that I would be more protected because I have to let people in. They need to know what's going on. And I took a leap of faith and I allowed that.
Was it really as simple as Jeremy handed over the video to you and said, "Here you go, take it. Here's all my old archive stuff"?
No. No, I mean, I'm pretty sure he thought that I was like a Mossad agent or something. He did not know who I was. I was coming on, as a new person in his life, when I joined Weaponize, and George as well, like they are very wary of new people coming into their lives, right? They have to do full background checks and everything to just make sure that, I don't have any bad intentions and such. So it took a long time. And aside from the background checks, there was a long, I think many months and probably a year of building trust, right? So like as we got into the more serious episodes, I think, right? Episodes where we released footage or videos or had whistleblowers in, I think trust was built between us. And they saw that, they saw my intentions, and then I also saw their intentions, because to be honest, I didn't know what to expect before meeting them. I remember having a thought on my way to the studio for the first time, like, is this some big joke? Like, what if they shut off the cameras and this is like some big scam or something, and I didn't know, like, what if, right? But it turned out that it was very real. So I was kind of like assessing that, and then they were assessing me at the same time, and the trust was built. And then, I realized and I saw that, look, film was always what I wanted to do. I wanted to make movies, right? And I still do. And that's my passion, my goal, to tell stories. And I saw that Jeremy had a lot of unreleased footage that he had never put out to the public, that he had never turned into movies. And I asked for his archive, and I told him, hey, maybe I can cut something, maybe I can make something. And over, I would say, many months of conversation, he ended up giving it to me.
Okay. Michael also helps out. He produces the podcast Weaponize with George Knapp and Jeremy Corbell. So it was a natural to have him jump into this role and do this. Now, let's go ahead and check out the trailer. Here we go, about 2 minutes long, the trailer for Sleeping Dog.
Your journalistic credentials mean jack shit. If you look in the 70s and 80s with the CIA, they used to have reporters on their payroll. They don't respect anybody.
Corbell is an investigative journalist who helped obtain and release the DoD footage of UFOs.
I've been holding a secret for about 11 years, and it's going to be extremely public. It's not a video of an alien. It's not a video of one crowd. It's more than that.
Years ago, I went searching for the truth about UFOs. And I found it.
He was the most curious kid ever.
First person that I pointed a camera at was John Lear.
John Lear, son of the famed aviation pioneer and a world-class pilot.
The government has between 30 and 50 alien bodies.
Cole called his phone, and he picked up. Yeah, I want to bring, a camera, and then how open he was with me.
This was not part of my game plan at all.
Flying saucers, flying discs of extraterrestrial origin.
The evidence is very strong. They've been here and are here.
It's an Alice in Wonderland planet. Very few people will ever find the truth. But everybody is looking for the truth, and a lot of people think that they found the truth. But that's impossible.
I'm like the least qualified person on planet Earth. One thing I am is I am worthy of your trust.
If you really have stuff that is that sensitive that you cannot release, you're relying on your connection as a journalist. They're not going to come after you, not only you, but they're going to come after your family. If I die, this story comes out.
It would represent one of the largest leaks in American history.
I don't know what to do, man. Is it worth it? To who?
Well, there you go. And asking that question there, is it worth it? Certainly there are risks that journalists and whistleblowers take upon themselves when they go out and tell the truth. When there are people out there who don't want the truth known, that was the next part of my interview with Jeremy Corbell.
Is it worth it? Because everybody wants me and George to just put everything we've ever been exposed to out. Well, some of it might be trickery. We do due diligence. When you ask, is it worth it? Well, in Sleeping Dog, I ask you, is it worth it? And I ask you, to who? So to me, yes, it is worth it, because I know we've been lied to, and I know we've been pressured, and I know that pressure has been put on George. It's been put on me. They've tried to divide us. They've tried to put wedges between us. They tell lies about us. And that's fine. It is worth it to me, because I want people to know what I know, which is very fundamental, bottom level truth about UAP. UAP are real. UFOs are real. They're hard physical machines. They outpace, outmaneuver, outperform anything our American government has. And we've excluded, we know for sure, it's not China or Russia or any technologically advanced nation that is known on planet Earth at this time. So where are they from? What do they want? Is it worth it? I feel threatened. You also threw in another question. Do I feel threatened? No, I'm dancing between the raindrops. I'm getting ahead of it. I'm showing you what George and I go through. That is legit. That is real. And you can hear it for yourself. You don't got to listen to me. You don't even got to like me, but you got to watch and you got to see what the truth is. The truth is they don't want you to know about UFOs. Nothing's ever going to be given to you. George and I are pushing it, and we're provoking it, and so are a lot of other people. But what we're up against, I hope Sleeping Dog shows you a little bit about what it feels like to be up against it.
It certainly does that. It showed me a lot of what they have to deal with in this. Okay, when we come back, we're going to talk about some of the spying on whistleblowers being done by the CIA and also disclosure and a conclusion that I think you're going to enjoy. So a lot more to come here on Mystery Wire with George Knapp. Okay, we learned recently, if we didn't know it already, but testified before Congress, that whistleblowers and also journalists get spied on by the CIA. It was very clear. James Erdman III, longtime intel official, military official, Army Ranger, testified recently before Congress. Most of what he talked about dealt with COVID, if you remember, when he came out and spoke about this in the CIA and cover-ups and that sort of stuff. But he also touched on the other issues of spying on journalists and whistleblowers, and Corbell had some very interesting things to say about that.
I didn't know that that was public information yet, that the CIA was spying directly on Tulsi. That happens to be fact and verifiable fact. I think what we heard, was from a CIA agent under oath in Congress saying that the whistleblowers were being spied through under DIG, the Director's Initiative, under ODNI. What you didn't quite hear was the specifics of that spying, because it goes way beyond spying. They admitted it. The CIA themselves admitted they were spying on the whistleblowers who came in for UAP. Well, what people might not know is that George and I were the first contacts under the DIG from ODNI, and they came to us, and we went in without our devices, and we got behind them, and we said, okay, if you want to do something good, let's go. And we underhanded pitched them some of the people you know and some people you don't know, but we warned every single one of them that most likely the CIA is spying on all of us, because the DIG itself and ODNI is supposed to be, by the way, protecting whistleblowers. That's what they told me. And ODNI is the head of all intelligence agencies. CIA is supposed to be below them. You've been told the CIA, by a CIA agent under oath in Congress, by a guy, John something the third, don't remember his name, you've been told that the CIA was spying on Dylan Borland, Matthew Brown, Lou Elizondo, Jay Stratton, me, George Knapp, and a bunch of names I'm not going to say because you don't know them yet. But, yeah, man, that's a little concerning. So your question was, what's happening? I don't know. Obviously, the CIA is out of control, like they were during the time when they were doing all of the other stuff in the 70s when we had hearings about it. So what is going on? Same thing that was going on then. We have out of control factions within intelligence agencies threatening, creating false evidence on whistleblowers, and spying on Americans illegally, including journalists like George Knapp and like me.
Okay, in light of that and in that environment, we are still talking about disclosure, certainly. The word of the year, we've mentioned that. You got the movie coming up, Disclosure Day, before too long. And next week, David Grush, Air Force intel officer, who has said that the U.S. is holding human spacecraft and dead pilots. That's what he has said. That's what he has testified in front of Congress for. He's going to have an event, if you call it that, on the steps of the Capitol building, talking about disclosure. That's going to be coming up next week. I also talked to Jeremy Corbell and Michael Lazovsky about this issue of disclosure. What do you think of what the feds have disclosed so far?
Yeah, my opinion is my own, right? I've been a fly on the wall with Jeremy and George and a lot of their conversations that they have with people in government, whistleblowers. So it's not Jeremy's opinion. But I'm extraordinarily disappointed, honestly, with our federal government, what they've been releasing so far. And the frustrating thing is, okay, you have journalists, Jeremy and George, they've released a lot of videos that have, the videos that are coming out in these dumps, there's a lot of them that Jeremy and George have already released. The two big ones, the sphere and the instantaneous acceleration, that's the big one that everyone is debating right now, right? Those two videos were released months ago. And the frustrating thing is you have the Pentagon and the government, the defense establishment. They've been hiding the secret for decades, keeping it away from the American public. And now they release stuff that journalists, independent journalists, have already released. And they're saying, oh, we're so awesome and transparent. Here you go.
David Grush is dangerous because he knows a lot. But guess what? So do a lot of other people, including journalists who can prove it. So you're asking me what's coming next. Well, I don't think it's wise for like a bunch of whistleblowers to come forward when you've heard, like you did this weekend, where George and I talked at Contact in the Desert, and we'll put that out. You learned what happened to whistleblowers physically, like what happened to them in their lives, their families. I don't think it's wise for whistleblowers to come forward until we have proper protections, because there are none. They're all BS. Right now, they're all BS. We need proper protections for whistleblowers. Right now, the only protection they have is telling journalists like me and George what's up so that we can do our best, like we have protected many others, known and unknown. So what is next? I know David is a friend of mine. I know that he's going to go up there and he's going to say, President Trump, this is your chance. Right now, he'll have some people with them. But what we really need is we need protections for whistleblowers. And also what we need is we need the CIA and the FBI and ODNI and all the people that are doing this to know one thing. Hundreds of journalists have what you saw in Sleeping Dog. Not only that, look at the file structures. Hundreds of journalists around the world have that information. So what they need to do is think about what their next.
Okay. And at the end there, by the way, we lost connection with him. Their internet was strong at his place. At my place, it was sort of strange. But at the end, what their next move is going to be is what he said there at the very end. Okay. With that being said, the finale is something you want to stick around for, my interview with Jeremy Corbell. When we come back, here to Mystery Wire. Okay, we're going to finish with a crescendo here. I sort of promised that at the start of my interview with Jeremy Corbell, and he talks about what's next from here and answers that question in a very dynamic way. It's about 4.5 minutes long, but you're going to enjoy it.
So if people have watched Michael Lazovsky's movie, Sleeping Dog, then they have an idea of what it is that 100 journalists now have. If they don't come out with the next drop having to do with reverse engineering, non-human intelligence craft, and if they don't address or begin to address biologics, then they saw in Sleeping Dog the file systems. That's not just in my hands anymore. That's not just in George Knapp's hands. They have promised transparency on what they know on UAP. David Grush went up in front of Congress with his hand to the country, to the globe, and to whatever he believes in. And he told the truth. And he told you not just UFOs are real, that we have been reverse engineering them, that we've been trying to for decades, and that there were pilots, biologics, he said, non-human intelligent beings. Now, if that's true, and if you believe him, our government, in parts, has that information. It is time to tell the American public the truth. The movie Sleeping Dog was literally born from the resistance to the truth. It was born because your government, our government, many other governments, such as the Five Eyes Alliance, has chosen silence over transparency. That is going to end. But the problem is, how? You got to get ahead of it. The White House has to get ahead of it. Our president can order the release of UAP files, but he needs to hold the CIA and other organizations that have the data, information, and knowledge accountable. It's not good enough to say it. You have to hold them accountable, because you don't want to be a president that is lied to, just like Clinton was. So that's what's up. That's the score. That's the truth. Sleeping Dog, you see in there what is possible, but it's up to them because of you to make it happen.
Is this an exciting time for you with disclosure, or is it a terrifying time, or both in ways for you personally?
Do I personally, do I look scared to you, or do I look focused?
At times,
hold on, Ron.
Okay.
How do I look to you?
No, you look absolutely focused.
Yeah. So no.
But there were times I was frightened for you in watching Sleeping Dog. There were times I was sitting there going, Jeremy, come on. I was frightened. I was frightened for you.
Yeah. You know, my family was, George was, the FBI was, my lawyer was, and they had cause to be concerned. We don't have that concern anymore. That's why Sleeping Dog is there. You've now seen it. That was the worst time of my life. I am not terrified. I am not scared. I am focused. And so should you be, because here's an opportunity. Take it or not. That's on you. We've set up the pins the best we can. It's all on you now.
Perfect. I'm all in.
All right, let's go. Thank you so much, Ron.
I'm
Mystery Wire.
No, I appreciate it.
I gotta say, it's an honor to be on Mystery Wire because George Knapp and I, we've been working together for a long time. We have been pushing and pushing. We've been reporting the news to the best of our knowledge. We've really done our best to get to this point. It's an honor to be on Mystery Wire. I'm glad that you're doing it, getting all that stuff, because George has more information on this subject than anybody that I have ever met on planet Earth. And that's something to say. So we could really use the public pushing to get where we can get. We've done our best. We ain't going to stop. We're going to keep going. But it's an honor and it's a real pleasure to be able to investigate this with the world, but especially with George Knapp. So thank you. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Jeremy Corbell, Michael Lazovsky, for taking the time. Watch Sleeping Dog, and you'll see you'll come away with the same impression that I came, that there are things you worry about for Jeremy Corbell throughout this, but it's good to see that he's going, wait, disclosure is protection in so many ways, I believe, and having knowledge, power, truth, all of those things are important in this discussion, and that's what we hope to bring you, and that's what I believe we bring you here on Mystery Wire. So thank you very much to those guys, to George Knapp. I'm Ron Futrell. Thank you for watching. Bye for now, everybody.